Group 1, welcome to your reading. Now, before we get started, I just want to say that I am very much aware that this is probably going to be a little bit more of a difficult topic. There may be some messages that are hard to hear, and if something doesn't resonate, as always, leave it. I am planning on doing a sort of like, let me hype you up, confidence building tarot reading soon. After this video uploads, so just be on the lookout for that. If this reading ends up getting you down a little bit, hopefully that one can help balance it out. But the hope with this reading is that it gives you a sense of guidance, a sense of hope, a sense of understanding, help you sort of accept the current situation for what it is, all that good stuff. So I hope it's ultimately helpful, even if some of the messages are, harder to hear. It can be a little bit of, a sensitive topic. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this. We have Temperance, we have the Ace of Swords, we have the Ten of Swords, we have the Hanged One, we have the Queen of Cups, the Chariot, and we also have She Who Enfolds, Swath, Embrace, and Self-Care. And then we have She Who Brings the Light, Serenity, and Beacon. And I want to show you the back of these cards because they're so cute. This is the Pulp Girls Tarot. But anyway, okay. Group 1. First of all, with this Ten of Swords, we definitely want to acknowledge and validate everything that you have been through up until this point. The Ten of Swords isn't just one heartbreak, it's not just one disappointment, it's not just one unfortunate betrayal of trust, it's not one instance of hurt. These swords built up over time. This is like multiple disappointments, multiple heartbreaks. Even if all of these swords could have just come from one person, or it may have been, for some of you, multiple people who have let you down in some capacity, stabbed you in the back, right, and left you essentially for dead. In the Ten of Swords, it's a really intense card, right? And it could have been, like I said, one person who just hurt you over and over and over again. And the thing is, when we have these issues with attachment, or we have issues in love, we seem to encounter, the same type of person over and over again who hurts us, or we have these disappointments, or we just find it hard to connect with other people, and so we do stay single, we do stay alone. The thing is that a lot of this, is almost like learned behavior. It's understandable. Like if you encounter this over and over again, at a certain point, don't you stop reaching out? If you try to reach out and form a connection with someone, and it doesn't just have to be romantic, this could be you trying to reconcile or come to a better place with like a narcissistic parent, or you trying to get to a better place with a friend, or you trying to just form a friendship with someone. It doesn't always have to be romantic, right? All sorts of relationships can break our hearts. They don't have to be romantic. But if you keep reaching out to have a connection with someone or to improve a connection with someone, and this continues to be your experience, ultimately, don't you stop reaching out. Don't you start to hesitate. And that's what I'm seeing with this Temperance card here, is that there's sort of this almost indecision. You see, she's got one foot in the water and one foot on the ground here. Part of her wants to reach out, wants to be emotionally open with her foot in the water here. But then her foot that's still on the ground wants to be safe, wants to be practical, wants to say, well, this has happened to me over and over again. Why am I going to keep opening up? Why am I going to keep putting myself in a position to get hurt? So there's this hesitancy, because you could be sitting there and saying, like, I want to meet my future spouse, or I want to meet my soulmate. I want to meet the love of my life so badly. But then there's still this part of you that is, very much afraid, and understandably so. And that's what I want to make so clear to you, Group 1, is that this is understandable, this hesitancy that you feel, even if it's on a subconscious level, even if you're not aware of it, this hesitancy to emotional vulnerability, to opening yourself up, to trying to form a connection with someone, this hesitancy that you feel is understandable when you've been through the Ten of Swords. 110% understandable, because you have reached out, you have been emotionally vulnerable. In order for someone to hurt you like this over and over and over again, whether it was one person or multiple people who did this to you, for them to hurt you on this level, you had to have let them in. You had to have opened up your heart. So it's not like you're incapable of opening up your heart or that you haven't tried before. You have tried and you've been burned. You've been burned over and over and over again. And it's interesting with this Ace of Swords being next to this Ten of Swords. It's almost kind of giving this vibe of the universe, the divine, your spiritual team is wanting to come and sort of energetically pull out these swords one by one. And that takes time. Just like this happened over a period of time. Like I said, it wasn't just one heartbreak. This was like a chronic problem in your life. This was a cycle that just kept happening to you over and over again. Again, whether it was with one person or multiple people, it was a really difficult experience. And you've been down for a while. And so this healing process is also going to take time. It took time for each of these wounds to happen. It's going to take time for each of these wounds to heal. But that healing process is actively happening as, I'm sitting here speaking to you. So energetically, the divine is pulling out these swords one by one. But it does take time. And that timeline is going to look different for all of you. And I apologize, I'm very sniffly today. I'm going to try to cut it out. I was reading that in the second trimester, that's very common. So just bear with me. But anyway, with this Hanged One here, through this process, you are going to have this new perspective. You're going to have this epiphany moment, which is also very much the energy of the Ace of Swords. And I think that moment for you is very much going to involve this realization that you didn't deserve this realization that there was never anything wrong with you. Because I feel like if this has happened to you over and over again, at a certain point you might start to question and say, is there something wrong with me? Is there something in my energy that I am putting out there that is attracting this sort of person? Or is there something wrong with me, especially if you've dealt with a narcissistic parent? Is there something wrong with me? Is there something that makes me unlovable? I think that can especially happen when you have a parent who is the sort of parent you wish you could have to your siblings, but you are like the black sheep or the odd one out, and you don't understand why they have this sort of animosity towards you, or they treat you so differently, or they hold you to a certain, a different standard. It's like, what about me is so different? especially if you have a sibling who messes up all the time and you try to be very much like the perfect daughter or the perfect son, and you still don't get that love, whereas their love for the other child or children seems unconditional. That's a very specific message, but I am picking up that dynamic for some of you, and that has also contributed to this. But I feel like at a certain point you're going to have this epiphany moment in this healing process that tells you there was never anything wrong with you. There was never anything that you were doing to cause this. And it's going to be this process of you coming to a place of understanding that you deserved better, that there was never anything unlovable about you. You didn't deserve it. And so it becomes a very empowering moment for you. And I think the reason why you went through this is that you are on some level meant to be a healer in this lifetime. You are meant to help others. And so even if you don't end up being like a mental health professional or something like that, there's something about you that is meant to help heal other people, that is meant to help other people, also go on a self-love journey or a journey of self-acceptance. Especially with this Queen of Cups. And you don't, like I always say, this is divine feminine energy. You don't have to be a woman watching this. But this is your energy. And group 1, if you're coming in and presenting as the Queen of Cups right now, the Queen of Cups is like, honestly, probably the most ideal romantic partner. I mean, she knows how to give and receive love in such a healthy way. She's so emotionally attuned. She's so sensitive. She's so spiritually aligned. Like, she's just so loving and affectionate and has, just good intentions. And she's so soft. And I can see why this would be used against you. I can see how easy it would be for someone in a lower vibrational energy to come in and manipulate your kindness, to use your kindness as a weakness against you. I can see how people would take advantage of your, inherently good nature. I can see that. And it's unfortunate. And I think a lot of that comes from people viewing feminine energy as something that's weak. And you see that even when people talk about the Disney princesses, like people tend to idolize the ones that present in a more masculine way or do more masculine things, like Mulan. And what Mulan did was incredible, but it's like, does a woman have to like go to war like to be viewed as strong? Is there not a way to be strong in a feminine way, or what we think of traditionally as a feminine way? There's a lot of strength in femininity, 100%. Mothers are, some of the strongest people ever, right? And so with this Queen of Cups, I feel like you're starting to come to this place of a beautiful understanding of what you have to offer in romantic partnerships, and starting to understand that the things that you were taught through these negative relationships, connections, what you were taught to hate about yourself or to resent about yourself, what you were taught was, a weakness or a vulnerability that had to be protected, that had to be guarded. By the way, you could have Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces placements as well, especially in your Venus. And my heart goes out to you if you're a Venus in Cancer, because I'm a Venus in Cancer and it's a rough time. But anyway, what you were taught to hate about yourself or to resent about yourself, the parts of yourself that you were taught to keep hidden, those sensitive, soft, feminine aspects of you, were actually your very best qualities. And you were, essentially this is very much like there's nothing wrong with you. There was something wrong with the quality of people that you were loving. It's that kind of vibe. There was nothing wrong with you. It's just a matter of having discernment. Who do I share these aspects of myself with? Okay? And with this Queen of Cups, like I said before, you have so much to offer in a romantic partnership. Anyone would be lucky to be in a relationship with the Queen of Cups. I mean, she's just such an amazing partner, so supportive, so understanding of what it takes to build a healthy, lasting relationship. And it's like the problem was that you didn't have a good partner. You didn't have a good teammate. You know, it's like I'm over here giving and giving and giving and putting in all the effort, and I have someone else who can't even be bothered to show up. And so I think that's the root of it. And so you thought there was something wrong with you, but it can't all be on one person to make something work. But that's what you were encountering. And again, I feel like you were dealing with very avoidant attachment style sort of people. You were dealing with narcissistic people. You were dealing with probably some immature people, some manipulative people, people who had just very self-serving intentions towards you, very dishonest intentions. And then with this Chariot card here, I feel like Spirit kind of wants to emphasize to you in this moment that you have more choices than you realize. That you being single has more to do with this hesitancy that we were talking about, rather than Spirit trying to keep you single for whatever reason. Okay? Like, Spirit is kind of coming through and saying, we're not keeping you single right now. We're not. We're helping you heal. We're doing that for you. We're helping you through that process. But we are not keeping you single. With this Chariot card, the choice is yours. And so I feel like you're at this place where it's like, do I reach out again? Do I try to start dating again? Do I put myself out there? Do I open up my heart? Or do I stay in my safe, guarded shell? Because the Queen of Cups here, she's on an island by herself. And she's holding this cup and she's facing the water. And so does she step back into her emotions? Does she step back into the sea, right? Plenty of fish in the sea. Like, you know, does she step out there and try to offer her cup to someone? Or does she keep it for herself? And listen, there's no right or wrong answer to that. You know, like if you are feeling that hesitancy and you're like, as much as I want a romantic partner right now, maybe I need to sit with this for a minute. That's fair. That's fair. The person who is meant for you is never going to end up with someone else. What's meant to be will always be. Okay? It's just about whether or not you're ready. And I feel like Spirit is saying, honestly, Group 1, only you can answer that question at this time. Are you ready? And be honest with yourself. Because you can want something all day long and still not necessarily be ready for it. And again, only you can answer that question. Nothing in your cards is saying whether or not you're ready. And you don't have to be 100% totally healed to meet your person. And I mean, even just speaking from personal experience, I talked about this in another reading. I very much still have a fear of abandonment that comes from family issues. And my husband is aware of that, and sometimes he's patient about it and other times he gets impatient with me, but we communicate about it, and it's definitely up to me to continue to actively work on that fear, right? Because it can show up in a sneaky way sometimes, in my relationship. And so you don't have to be 100% healed. I mean, healing's a lifelong journey. So you just have to ask yourself, are you at a place where you're ready enough? Because you're never going to feel 100% ready. I don't think you could. After going through the Ten of Swords, I feel like there would always be some kind of residual fear there until you have had a healthy relationship and you've seen that actually manifest in your reality for you. Just personally, I think that would be tough to ever feel totally 100%. But if you are like a 98%, honestly, group one, I think that's good enough. But you have to make that choice, and you have to, discern for yourself where you're at with it. And the advice here from Spirit, from these cards, with this embrace self-care, light and serenity, this is the energy that would best support you if you were to start dating, putting yourself out there again, opening up your heart, to be in an energy where you have taken all of this beautiful, nurturing energy that you naturally have and give it to yourself. Pour into your own cup. Make sure your cup is full before you try to get back out there again. And so that means having a solid self-care routine, having a place of, peacefulness, inner peace, feeling like you are accepting of the current situation. So you don't have this energy of desperation. I'm sorry if you hear the truck outside. But just so you don't have this energy of desperation. And now I think my cats are fighting. Give me a second, y'all. Okay, I'm so sorry. The day those two cats start getting along is going to be one of the happiest days of my life. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. I don't feel like I need to go any deeper into that, but just any way that you can put yourself in a position where you feel like I am enough for me. I am capable of giving myself everything I need emotionally. And, I'm nurturing myself. I'm loving myself the same way I would love, a romantic partner. So, the same way that you would be supportive, the same way that you would be accepting of a romantic partner, all that kind of stuff. So essentially, dating yourself, pouring into yourself. Okay. Group one, why are you still single? We've got winter, we've got ego, we have balance, we have forgiveness, toxic, stormy, caution, and healing here. Okay. With this ego card, I 100% feel like this is Spirit kind of confirming to us that you still have some fear. And our egos try to protect us. I feel like ego has like a negative term. You can have a healthy ego, but it's just this fear. Our ego wants to protect us, wants to keep us safe. So that's that hesitancy that we were talking about. And I feel like Spirit is saying, have a sense of almost like a balanced approach with this. Don't go back out into the dating scene and make that your only priority. Still keep a balanced lifestyle. So if you start dating again, don't make that your entire world. I have a friend who does that over and over again. And it has like 100% like affected the friendship, because when that person is single, I hear from them regularly, it's easier to get in touch with them, versus when they start dating again, once they, let me say this, when they start dating again and, they're in like the talking stage, it's uncertain, then it's like I hear from them too much. They're like constantly contacting me, asking me for advice or whatever about how to deal with that. Like, what did they mean when they texted this, or what should I text back, that kind of thing. And then when they get into a relationship with that person, if it ends up happening, then they go like radio silent. I don't hear from them at all. And so it's like, and then when that relationship ends, I hear from them too much, and then it levels out to a normal level, and then we repeat this cycle again. And then, that's frustrating, because when I'm in a relationship, I don't drop them. which now I'm married, but you know what I'm saying. So, and I'm not saying that's something you do group one, but I'm just giving that as an example. Like, don't neglect your friendships. Don't neglect your work. Don't neglect your household chores. Don't neglect your hobbies. Don't neglect your self-care. Like, don't make it your number one priority where, you know, everything is secondary to you getting into a relationship with someone else, okay? Now, with the healing card and forgiveness and caution and stormy and toxic, I feel like all of these cards are wrapped up in that 10 of Swords. And so here's the thing, and I know people have a lot of feelings about this message, but it's so true. To free yourself, you have to make peace with the past. You have to accept and forgive the past for what it was. People who wronged you, even resentment towards yourself for allowing that to happen. I feel that way a lot of times. You know, I can almost like victim blame myself, like, why did I let them treat me that way? I should have walked away sooner, or I should have spoke up for myself. Like, I can beat myself up for not advocating for myself. And it's like, I'm just making the situation worse, you know, and I'm just misappropriating that blame onto myself. And that's not cool, you know, because my past self didn't deserve to be treated like that. And maybe my past self needed to go through that to learn how to advocate, to learn how to set boundaries, right? To learn how to speak up and defend myself. That's a skill. Those are all skills. Why would I expect myself to be born having those skills, especially if I wasn't taught those skills in childhood? And so I think being gentler with your past self, forgiving your past self, if that message was resonating 100%, like, don't victim blame. And then also, I think even if you didn't get an apology, even if the other person didn't express any kind of remorse, carrying around anger and resentment and bitterness towards them is just going to energetically weigh you down. And so you have to come to a place of acceptance, ambivalence, forgiveness, you know, like Taylor Swift says, indifference, something. But you cannot carry around all of that anger and resentment. And I mean, when they say forgiveness will set you free, it's true. It's 100% true, and it's for your benefit. It's not for anyone else's benefit. And, you know, again, like, it's a process. It's not something that's easy to do at all. And you may get to a point in your healing journey where you feel like you are ambivalent, or you feel like you have forgiven, you know, whatever the terminology you want to use, but it can still come back up. It can still be triggered in some way. And please don't feel like you've regressed in your healing journey. It's just part of the process. You know, I feel like forgiveness or acceptance or reaching a state of indifference is not a destination. It's a skill that you actively have to, you know, practice every day. It takes a certain level of willpower. It does. It really, really does. It takes a lot of inner strength. It's reminding me of that Olivia Rodrigo? Yeah, her Grudge song. It's reminding me of that. Like, it takes strength to forgive, but I don't know if I'm strong enough yet. And that's okay. If that's the space that you're in. Because you have dealt with a lot, you know? You've dealt with a lot of people who had a lot of red flags that you wish that you had seen sooner, or that you did see, but you talked yourself out of them. You know, you made excuses for them. You gave them too much of a benefit of the doubt kind of thing. You know, you had a lot of emotional upheaval, a lot of difficult times. Sorry, the dogs are snoring. I don't know if you can hear that. Maybe he'll stop. I kind of don't want to wake him up though, because he can be really noisy. And you dealt with a lot of toxic connections, you know, where there was codependency, or where, they were super controlling and manipulative, or it was a karmic connection and you had to learn a really big lesson. Just a lot of issues. And so I think Spirit wants to acknowledge that you have a lot to heal from and you're doing it. And to give yourself grace with that. It does feel like you're in a winter season of your life, You've cleared out a lot. You've already let go of a lot. You've been through the autumn season. And now you're in this period almost of like hibernation and preparing for spring, preparing for stepping out into the world again in terms of like dating and love, or just connections in general, depending upon how, lonely or isolated you have felt. And I feel like these could be turning points in your love life. The month of December, January, February. I mean, we're in that now. It's December now. So I do feel like these are pivotal months for you, Group 1. Oh my gosh, he's snoring so loudly. Okay. We have the Gathering. This card is so pretty. And we have the Garden of Hallowed Moonlight. This card here, this Hallowed Moonlight, talks a lot about finding beauty in the challenge, finding beauty and purpose through pain, finding the silver lining through difficult experiences. And you've had your fair share of difficult experiences, as we've talked about, Group 1. And so I think honestly, some of you may find that you become more artistic or more creative, or that's an outlet for you to process and to heal. And I know some of you may feel like you're not artistic or creative in any sort of way, but I feel like everyone has that within them. And you're the Queen of Cups. I mean, that's an artist right there, whether you realize it or not. And sometimes we don't even sort of recognize that about ourselves. I dated someone who was a musician, and they kept trying to convince me. They're like, if you had, proper like vocal training, you could sing. And I just thought that was the most ridiculous thing in the world. And I still think it's pretty ridiculous. Like, I cannot sing for the life of me. But who knows? Maybe if I did have that vocal training, maybe I could. Maybe I could be a singer. Who knows? I've never tried it. But I think that sometimes we discount, possible talents that we have because we just don't even try. And so, you may find that you take up poetry during this time, or you start journaling, and from that, maybe you start writing about your experiences and you decide to turn it into a book, or you start songwriting. Writing is coming through kind of strongly here, but maybe you start painting, or maybe you are an artist and you're like, yeah, maybe I should use that as a medium, to process some of these things. But yeah, I feel like that's a blessing through all of this. And that may be, remember how I said you all were meant to be a healer? You could heal people through your art, through your creative expressions. Other people would resonate a lot with what you have the potential to create, Group 1. With the Gathering card here, I do feel like Spirit is encouraging you to find your people, to try to find your soul family, to focus not so much on finding a romantic connection, but focus on having more healthy connections in your life in general. Having a solid friend group. And if you feel like you already have that, spend time with those people. Spend time with those people. Cherish those connections. Nurture those connections. Connect more with your family. If you do have a supportive family, connect more with them. So I think Spirit is saying, appreciate the connections that you do have in your life, if you have any. And so sorry. If you don't have any, try to reach out, try to open up your heart. Maybe just focus on finding good connections in general and not necessarily just a romantic partner. I feel like Spirit is saying, like, we want you to have a circle of people. We want you to have a circle of trust, a circle of support. We don't want you to just rely on one person to be your everything. okay? And I think group 1, you are the sort of person that maybe tries to be everything to either everyone, or when you're in a relationship, you try to be everything to that person. You do so much. And so it's like you're pouring too much and you're not saving enough for yourself. And then that energy is never reciprocated for you. And so I feel like Spirit is saying, we love that you have this enormous capacity to give, but we want you to hold back some of that for yourself. Don't give to the point of self-depletion, okay? We have nostalgia. Focus on the here and now. Yeah, I mean, a letting go of the past. A letting go of the past. And remember too, like if you are still lingering or thinking about an ex, especially someone who was like your first love, remember that we have a tendency to look back at the past with rose-colored glasses, and we have a tendency to romanticize the past. And so I feel like, you know, there's a lot of work that has to be done around accepting and forgiving the past for what it was, understanding what it was, acknowledging what it was, and then letting it go so that you can be present currently. Because this is where you find your joy. This is where you make changes, is in the present moment. It's the only point in time where you have any sort of power. You don't have the power to control the future, right? Like there's always going to be unexpected things happening in the future that we just have to respond to, right? And there's always going to be this definitive, like it's done energy to the past, right? We can't go back in time. It's just done. It is what it is. It is what it is. That's why I have this here. It is what it is. So, and I had this for, I'm going to have this for all groups, not just for you, group 1, but I thought for this topic, like this was such a good mantra because it is what it is. Like we have to accept how things are in order to change them. And then we have voyage here. You already have all the answers. That's a hard message, right? But I feel like with you already have all the answers, remember when we were talking about the Chariot, it's just about whether or not you are ready or not. And only you can decide that. Only you have the answer to that question. But there's nothing within you where like you need to heal or fix something about yourself. Otherwise, you can't be a good romantic partner. You are an ideal romantic partner. Your only thing maybe is not giving too much of yourself. I mean, that's really all that we've seen, right? And we have forgive. I mean, it just keeps coming up over and over again. Red always makes me think of Taylor Swift's Red and the song All Too Well. You can't not think of that, right? But anyway, with this card here, I feel like we've gone over it and over it and over it, so I'm not going to speak on it anymore. But I feel like if you were still resistant to that message, Spirit is really hitting it home, okay? And then we have stars. You can manifest your every wish. Yeah, I mean, you can call in your ideal romantic partner. You do have more power than you think that you do. You really do. I feel like some of you have just felt so stuck or so hopeless or just so almost like at a point of like, I don't even know what to do. But you can manifest. You do have more power than you think. It's just about, I think, you letting go of that hesitancy and saying, I am ready, and you deciding when that point in time is. Group 1. Okay, now we're just going to end your reading with some self-care messages. We have write a gratitude list. I think this will really help you stay in the present moment if you can focus on what is going right in your life. We have build strength. This will get you out of your head, you know, if you've been feeling anxious or depressed. Connecting with your physical body and connecting with your intuition will really help you a lot. And then your next card is intuition. So there we go. And you are highly intuitive, and you probably have some psychic abilities, group 1. I wouldn't be surprised. But you coming through as the Queen of Cups, 100%. Yeah, use your intuition. And I think that will help you. The more you practice using your intuition, the less you'll feel afraid of missing red flags in the future or choosing the wrong person in the future. And I do have my old test your intuition videos that are super quick, where you can practice. And then we have movement. So yeah, again. And I feel like the reason why you got this build strength card and movement is, build your inner strength as well, right? But also just to kind of emphasize to you that exercising or movement can still be gentle. It doesn't have to be overly strenuous, especially if exercise is something that intimidates you. I know it used to really intimidate me until I found something that worked for me. I really like to jump rope. I haven't done that while I've been pregnant, but that's something that I've always really enjoyed doing. And so, you know, it can be as simple as taking a walk outside or doing some light yoga. It doesn't have to, or like Tai Chi, but it doesn't have to be anything strenuous or that's going to be, I don't know, too intimidating to start. It can be something that's gentle and easy on your body, okay? A movement that feels natural to you. One thing that's like really fun is finding like the dance party videos on YouTube where you just follow someone along and you dance. And you don't have to, you know, worry about looking silly or whatever. It's just in the privacy of your own home, you know, you can do that. Okay, group 1, this was your reading. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that it resonated. I'm wishing you the very, very best, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care. Group 2, welcome to your reading. I just want to say before we get started, I want to acknowledge that this reading or this topic can be very sensitive, and I hope that I handle it with care. And I also want to say that I plan on doing a sort of confidence building, let me hype you up reading sometime after this one posts. So be on the lookout for that. You know, if you feel like you need a little bit of a confidence boost after watching this reading, not that it's going to be like so rough and terrible, but just because like it's a sensitive topic, you know. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. We have the 6 of Pentacles, we have the Queen of Swords, the 7 of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the 5 of Wands, the 3 of Swords, the King of Swords, and the Queen of Cups. And your bottom of the deck was the 5 of Cups. That's why I have it off to the side here. So I just want to say I knew someone today was going to get the Queen of Swords. I just knew it because she seems to be an energy that is hanging around for some of you in my collective, but also because the Queen of Swords isn't necessarily the most emotionally open character in the tarot, and you have a lot of court cards here. But I'll say, there's so many messages coming through. I'm going to try to say them in an organized way. But I will say, I definitely feel like you all are this Queen of Swords. I was just drawn to her immediately. And your gender doesn't matter. This is divine feminine energy. But, and you may be an air sign, or you may have significant air sign placements, although you don't have to. But that can be confirmation for some of you. So Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. But I'll say, especially like your Venus or your moon, but I'll say group 2, you all are kind of in this space of like, you're a bit guarded, or maybe more than a bit, you're a lot guarded. You're very protective over yourself, but you're in your power. You are in your power. You know, you're in this space of like, I'm not lowering my standards. I'm not accepting anything less than what I deserve. You know, I'm not accepting any kind of BS, you know, like either, you know, you come into my life correctly and you treat me with respect and, you know, you have good intentions towards me, or please leave me alone. And so you have this very like independent vibe. You know, you may come off as a bit intimidating. You really might, but you are just fully in your power. And I feel like with the 7 of Pentacles, you're like, I'm kind of like tired of being single, but at the same time, I would rather wait for the right person than lower my standards, you know? So if I gotta wait, you see how like she's waiting, but she doesn't really, I mean, she's kind of over it, right? Like she doesn't look like she's happy to be waiting. She's just like, oh my gosh, like how long do I have to keep watering these plants to be able to harvest these pentacles? Like how much longer? And that's kind of the vibe here. I feel like you may be in the space of like, I've done all of this inner work. I've done all of this shadow work. I've done all of this healing. Maybe you've been through a dark night of the soul, but you're like, okay, like I'm good. I'm in like the best version of myself right now. I've, you know, done all of this self-development. Where's my person? You know, like what's going on? And so it's like you're waiting, you're patiently waiting, but your patience is starting to run thin, but you still are kind of holding strong to this idea of like, I'm not settling, which is, you know, I think totally fair. Now, with this 5 of Wands here, there may be like people competing for your attention. There may be people trying to get with you, but I don't think that they're on your level. You know, with the 6 of Pentacles, like you may be kind of standing here, you know, and you may have offers coming in, but like none of them are enough. Like 3 Pentacles, 2 Pentacles, like this is not enough, you know? You're waiting for the 10 of Pentacles. You're waiting for someone who has real value to bring to your life. And you're just not seeing it. Like people may be trying to get your attention, but for the wrong reasons. You know, they may just be wanting a casual connection, whereas you're wanting something more lasting or something more authentic, something deeper. Or it could be they want your attention, but they're not putting in a lot of effort. And it's like, you know how some people will like beg for your attention, and then the moment you give it to them, they're over it. Like they don't care anymore. Like they are only about the challenge or the chase, or they see you as a conquest kind of thing. It's all about their ego, not because they're genuinely interested in you. So you may be dealing with really immature energy like that. And you know, it could also be that you just feel like, maybe you just feel like you've been spending too much time on dating apps, or you've tried online dating, because with the 5 of Wands, that always makes me think of online dating, or using a dating app, because that is a really competitive environment. Like as soon as you sign up for a dating app, you could be talking to someone, but you have no idea how many people they're talking to, right? So it's just naturally kind of a competitive kind of, I don't know, setting, I guess, for dating. You know, there's a lot of options, right? And so, you know, you may be kind of fed up with that scene, or like you've tried it and it's not really panning out for you, that kind of thing. And with this Three of Swords, I mean, you've definitely have had your heart broken in the past with this Three of Swords. And I want to say, because we have the Five of Wands and all of these court cards, I almost wonder if you've dealt with a lot of infidelity in the past, or partners, you know, who cheated on you, who lied to you, who were talking to someone else, or, you know, maybe they didn't full on cheat on you, but they were still, Olivia Rodrigo is coming up a lot. She came up in group 1 as well. But you know her song Traitor, like, you didn't cheat on me, you weren't unfaithful, but you're still a traitor because you got with this other person like 2 seconds after you dumped me, you know? So it's obvious you were talking and, you know, maybe emotionally cheating on me, you know, that kind of thing. But anyway, and so you may have dealt with that. And so I feel like that's still, for this card to come up, it's still lingering in your energy. And I think the reason why it's still there is because you are guarded. You know, you are like, I am not dealing with this again. No. And you are so firm and resolute about that. And you're like, like, never again. Like, that's how you feel, like, never again. I will never put myself in a situation where I'm with someone who's going to cheat on me, lie to me. I'm not going to put up with it. And the minute that it happens, I'm out. Like, I'm better off alone. I don't care. I'm better off lonely than dealing with this. And I think you have this understanding that it's better to be alone than to be with the wrong person. And that there's nothing more lonely than being with the wrong person. And it's true. I mean, it's so much better to be single and to feel lonely than to feel lonely in a relationship. It just hits differently. And you know, I think that you're really waiting for someone who's going to come in, like I said, and put in that effort, because I feel like you're in this space where you don't want to just hear it with this King of Swords. Like, you don't want to just hear them talk the talk. You want to see them walk the walk. And I feel like deep down, you are this Queen of Cups. Like, there is this, like, underneath this hard outer shell, there is this softness and this, I feel like you are someone who's like a closet romantic. Like, you don't really like to show that side to you, but really you are a romantic at heart. And you really do believe in like true love, or there's a part of you that does believe in soulmates, or a part of you that does like to think that there's this person out there waiting for you, you know, like you do like to think that, even if you don't necessarily even like to admit it to yourself, like there's a part of you that just really believes in love and loves love. But it's like, to survive in this kind of like dating scene, you've almost made yourself cold, you know, like you have walled off this part of yourself. And it's almost like this Queen of Swords is guarding this Queen of Cups. Like, I don't want anyone to get close to this side to me unless I'm 100% sure that they're not going to do this Three of Swords to me. You know, like, I really want to protect myself. So you have these walls up, right? And for good reason. Like, it's understandable if you have encountered this, especially if you've encountered it over and over again, that you would have these walls up, you would have these trust issues. Because that's really a big part of this, is not easily trusting. And so it's almost like she's like beckoning, like, okay, let's see what you got. And so you may be turning away a lot of potential romantic partners because, you know, like I said, it's like, I'm not going to accept breadcrumbs. I'm not going to settle for less. I'm not. And so people may tell you that you're too picky, or that you're too selective, or that you're too closed off. People may tell you that. But I think, I mean, you're right not to settle. You are. And with this Five of Cups, I mean, you may still be kind of really focused on the negative aspects of love. You may have started to kind of view love as something that can threaten your independence, or something that makes you vulnerable, or something that can make you weak. And so you may start to feel pretty jaded or pretty disillusioned with dating. And you may only be focused on the negative aspects of your past relationships. And that can keep you tied to it energetically as well. Just the same as like romanticizing an ex or missing an ex, hating them so much, or being like very resentful or still angry about it, can still keep you energetically tied to it. So I do think there needs to be some kind of release there. And it may be that you've repressed that. You've repressed it so much that it's still lingering in your energy. It's like, I don't want to think about my ex. I don't want to think about my ex. And yet you start seeing your ex, like qualities of your ex. I see that sometimes in comments on love readings. I won't mention an ex at all. I won't say like, this could be your ex. I won't say anything about that at all. But people will say, this sounds just like my ex. I don't want my ex back. And they get so upset. And I'm just sitting there thinking, does this person sound like your ex? Or are you still to some degree hung up on your ex? Again, it doesn't have to be from a place of missing them. It could be from a place of anger and resentment that you are projecting that onto the reading. I mean, I really feel like that when I read comments like that. I'm like, are you still hung up on them? Why are you, it feels like projection. It feels like projection. That may upset some people, me saying that, but it's true. That's what I think when I see comments like that. And so I feel like, honestly, for a lot of you, this King of Pentacles is your future romantic partner. I feel like they are the one that you were waiting for. So they could be a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or have significant placements like that in their birth chart. And don't discount the birth chart. People focus so much on the sun sign. Like, my husband is an Aquarius, but almost every other major planet in his birth chart is in Capricorn. So a lot of times, like when he'll pull cards sometimes. He doesn't know how to read tarot, but he'll like Google the meanings of the cards. I won't do a reading for him because I don't like to do readings on people close to me if I can help it. Now that I did when I was learning, but now that I'm like confident in my skills, I don't like to do it anymore. People get upset, sometimes with messages, but with this King of Pentacles, like if you meet someone and they're a Scorpio, don't discount them because they may have a lot of earth sign placements in their birth chart. So don't discount someone just because of their sun sign and you remember this reading. You're like, no, I'm supposed to be with an earth sign. They could just have a lot of earth in their chart, okay? Because my husband pulls the King of Pentacles a lot. And I think it's because he has so much Capricorn in his birth chart. But anyway, just wanted to throw that out there for you all. But yes, I think you're waiting for someone who is successful, who is accomplished, who you can share, I feel like, because the Queen of Swords is quite ambitious, and this King of Pentacles, he's ambitious in a different way. But he enjoys the finer things in life. He does. And so I feel like you're wanting someone on your level. You're wanting someone who's financially abundant. You're wanting someone who is down to earth, who is practical, who is someone who has their life together, someone who's not a mess, someone who is not going to bring their chaos, into your life. Someone who's very grounded, stable, secure, someone who makes you feel safe, because the Queen of Swords wants to feel safe. More than anything, she wants to feel safe. Because how in the world is she going to open up and show this Queen of Cups side to her if she doesn't feel safe? So as tough as she is, she has this ooey gooey like center to herself. And she can't reveal this side to herself without feeling safe. So even though she looks really tough, She wants someone to make her feel safe more than anything. And I feel like the King of Pentacles could offer that because it's such a grounded energy. It's such a comforting, solid energy. You know, this King of Swords, even though they may have some similarities with this Queen of Swords, this King of Swords is never going to make this Queen feel safe. There's too many similarities there. There's too much. The Queen of Swords can suss out the King of Swords BS so easily because she too is good with her words. She too is a smooth talker. And I just don't get a good vibe from this King of Swords. I don't. Especially with it being next to the Three of Swords. And it's almost like this King of Swords is blocking this Queen of Cups from being able to emotionally, express herself. It's like this King of Swords is blocking. And so it's like, if this is an ex, or even just a type of person that you've dated in the past, it's like that energy is blocking this Queen of Cups from feeling safe to express, her soft, sensitive side. And so, I feel like this King of Pentacles would be a much healthier partner and the kind of partner that you're waiting for. And the King of Pentacles would be someone who would show up for you, who would show you through their actions what their intentions towards you were, rather than promising you the world and not delivering like this King of Swords. The King of Pentacles is a person of action. Okay, let's go ahead and move into the rest of your cards. We have She Who Listens, Understanding, Witness, and Compassion. And we have She Who Forgives, Remorse, Guilt, and Forgiveness. Okay. So in order for you to move into a space where you can have this sort of romantic partnership with this King of Pentacles and have it be healthy. So when this person comes into your life, in order to have it work, in order for it to blossom into a healthy, happy connection, right? Spirit is saying, we need you to listen to your heart. We need you to connect with this Queen of Cups side to you because you're going to have to rely on your intuition. And so the Queen of Swords, she likes to intellectualize her emotions. She likes to think through her problems. She's very rational, very logical. And Spirit is saying this is a matter of the heart. This is not, where you make a pros and cons list. This is not that. This is a situation where you have to use your feelings. You have to use your emotions. You have to use your intuition. You can't, you can't apply logic to something that is inherently illogical. This is a matter of the heart. You need to start to listen to your own heart. And a lot of times, we blame our heart, we blame our emotion. And we say love is blind, right? We blame our heart. But a lot of times, I think intuitively, we do pick up on red flags. We do pick up on the warning signs that someone doesn't have the best intentions towards us. And then we talk ourselves out of it. We give them the benefit of the doubt. We make excuses. We rationalize their behavior. It's our minds that trick us. Not our hearts, not our intuition. It's our minds. And so Spirit is saying, to avoid that, use your intuition, listen to your heart, and also have compassion for yourself and what you've been through, and be patient with yourself. Because having those walls come down is going to require self-compassion and patience with yourself. Because the right person can come into your life all day long. But if you are not willing to let them in, where is it going to go? And then with this She Who Forgives, I feel like, if you've been cheated on before, like we were picking up, if you have trust issues, I talked about this in group 1. you do have to learn how to come to a place of forgiveness, acceptance, ambivalence, indifference, whatever you have to do to not continue to carry around that emotional baggage, to free yourself. Forgiveness is freeing yourself. And it's not a question of whether the other person or those people deserve it. It's a question of you deserving to feel free from the entire situation. You not to have those energetic cords weighing you down. Okay? And if you are upset with yourself, and I talked about this in group 1, if you are upset with yourself that you stayed in a situation longer than you should, or you forgave someone and took someone back and then they cheated on you or lied to you again, you have to forgive yourself for that. You have to forgive yourself for that. You were operating and making decisions based upon the information you had at that time. Hindsight is always going to be 20/20. You did the best that you could with the information that you had at that time. Don't victim blame. You did the best that you could. And it's okay. It wasn't your fault. You didn't deserve to be treated like that. It wasn't your fault. And you've learned from it. You know, like I said in group 1, it's through those experiences that we learn to set healthy boundaries, that we learn to advocate for ourselves. All of that is a skill. So give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. And I think, don't worry so much about lost time. You're never going to get it back. And sitting here feeling upset about it is just wasting more time. Having all of this remorse is just wasting more time. So we have to accept that as well. And that's a bitter pill to swallow. I wasted 3 years of my life on my ex. It's a bitter pill to swallow, it is. But the sooner you accept it, the sooner you can move forward into a happier chapter of your life. And I think maybe for a few of you, maybe you're a little bit upset at the universe too. Why did those people come into my life? Why did I even meet my ex? Why did I have to go through that? And I think making peace with that as well. Because once you start to learn that all of it served a purpose, or you start to accept that you're so much better for it, that you're so much stronger for it, you're the Queen of Swords. You are strong. You are incredibly strong. And I think if you can accept that, or at least view it as this was preparation for me to be with the right person, those relationships revealed wounds to me that I needed to heal, that I needed to work on. Because timing is everything in love. Timing is everything. It's not just about finding the right person, it's about the timing. We have offer. We have triggered. We have communication. We have true love. And how is true love coming right over this King of Pentacles? I told you, that's your future romantic partner. I love how that just happened. Okay, we have rebirth and we have unexpected. Okay, you are getting a different message than group 1. Group 2, there is a love offer coming in for you sooner than you're thinking. Because with this unexpected card coming out, this offer card, true love and rebirth, you are on the cusp of a new chapter in your love life. And I feel like the Queen of Swords would be someone who would doubt that, who would question that, who would probably be a bit more pessimistic about their love life. But group 2, it's happening sooner than you think. I mean, even with the communication card, your true love is calling. Divine union, this could be the one. This could be a lasting connection. This could be your life partner. This could be your future spouse. And it's a totally new beginning. A totally new beginning. And it's an unexpected occurrence. Like you're not really looking, or where you're looking for love, they show up somewhere totally different. So what I mean by that is, like, you could be looking for love on a dating app, but then meet this person out in your daily life. Like, you can meet them at work or at your coffee shop or at the bookstore, at the grocery store. I know someone, and I've mentioned this before on the channel, but she met her husband at Bojangles. So like, you can find love anywhere. She was waiting in line. She had just decided to stop in and get her a large sweet tea. She wasn't even like picking up breakfast or lunch. She just was like, man, I'm craving this tea. She met her husband. So, hey, you can find love anywhere. And, you know, I think with this triggered card, that's picking up on what I was talking about before. Like, everything that's happened up until this point was showing you where your triggers were, was showing you what wounds needed to be healed. And I do think that even when this person comes in, this King of Pentacles, I feel like he's still going to trigger you, because you're still like this Queen of Swords. And so you're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to feel all the feelings. You're going to feel like, oh gosh, like, this is everything. Imagine like everything you hoped for, everything you prayed for in a person, and they just show up in your life unexpectedly out of the blue. And it's like, oh my gosh, am I ready for this? You know, it's a lot. It's a lot, because remember, the Queen of Swords, she keeps her heart in a box. You know, she keeps it all nice and tidy, all tucked away. And so now you have someone that's triggering all of these feelings in you. And triggered doesn't have to be a negative thing. Triggering all of these feelings in you, it can feel very scary. It can feel very scary, especially for a Queen of Swords who might have some avoidant tendencies, because she's trying to protect herself. And so I think that there's just this aspect where it's like, almost like there's been cobwebs on that box that you keep your heart in, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's like your heart wants to come out of the box, and you're like trying to keep it in, and your heart's like, no, like, I'm feeling too much, like, you can't keep me locked away in this box, like, I need to express how I'm feeling. So it's gonna feel a bit overwhelming, right? All of these rush of feelings that you haven't felt in a long time, this depth of feeling that maybe you've never felt before. Because if you've dealt with half-hearted connections, if you've dealt with casual, superficial connections, dishonest connections, short-lived connections, and then you experience true love, like, of course that's gonna knock you out. You know, of course that's gonna, you know, think about how we describe love, like falling head over heels. That would be, you know, like an overwhelming, disorienting feeling, right? Like, it would feel almost surreal. Like, if you've ever been around someone who is falling in love, they are like super distracted, or they can't stop talking about that person, or they seem really giddy or excited, you know, and they start to make mistakes in their daily life, or they can't eat, or they can't sleep, right? Like, you can tell something's going on with them. So I feel like that's kind of like what you're going through. And it's funny because the Queen of Swords would take that to be like a sickness, you know, like, oh my gosh, like, this is miserable. I can't eat, I can't sleep, I can't stop thinking about them. Someone cure me of this. But you're falling in love. You're falling in love, and it's a beautiful, disorienting experience, you know? And so with this communication card, I feel like Spirit is kind of trying to help you prepare for this. Like, I feel like with the Queen of Swords, like, she's a great communicator, but when it comes to expressing her feelings, it's almost like how skilled she is at communication can almost be to her detriment, because she is skilled at concealing how she's feeling. You know, so she knows how to speak in a way where she doesn't reveal her true feelings, and that's an art, right? And so I feel like Spirit is saying, like, listen, we know you're a master of words, group 2, but this is a time when this King of Pentacles comes in, for you to be emotionally vulnerable, for you to communicate and express your feelings, not use your skills of concealment, essentially. Okay. I'm excited to deliver this message to you because I wasn't expecting it. We have Tower, unplug and relax for a spell. And we have Lavender, surround yourself with love. Okay. With this Lavender card here, I feel like Spirit is saying, you know, while you're waiting for this person to come in, soothe your soul. You know, lavender has a very calming effect, right? Soothe your soul. So if that is spending time with a close friend, if that's doing a self-care night, if that's cuddling with your cat or your dog, you know, whatever you have to do to soothe your soul, keep yourself in a very relaxed, cozy kind of headspace. And then with the Tower here, I feel like this is sort of the recommendation for when this person comes in, like we were talking about. It's going to feel, you know, a bit overwhelming, a bit disorienting, you know, unplug from social media, you know, just relax, disconnect from the world for a second, and just take some time for yourself to pour into yourself so you don't feel so overwhelmed by all of your feelings that you are, you know, starting to like overwork yourself to distract yourself from how you're feeling, or, you know, to help you not get too much in your head about it. You know, just do something that will calm you down. Because the Queen of Swords, like, she can overthink, she can get too much in her head, she can, you know, start to feel anxious because she has an overactive mind. She really does. We have Yule's Knight here. And I just messed up all those cards. And we have the Witch's House. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. So with the Yule's Knight here, I do feel like a lot of you may have gone through a dark night of the soul, but you have been in, you know, like a pretty dark place, you know, in terms of that Three of Swords and what you've been through emotionally and why you felt you needed to put those walls up and why you have trust issues. You know, all of it's for a reason. You didn't just wake up one day with trust issues. You know, it's for a reason that you don't open up very easily, right? Like, you put the Queen of Cups side of yourself in a box for a reason. And so with this card, I feel like Spirit is just telling you, and this is very much giving like lone wolf, hermit vibes, right? Like someone who's been single, or, you know, is very independent, or self-isolates a lot, withdraws a lot, someone who's very reserved. But this is telling me, don't lose hope, group 2. Don't lose hope, especially because your new start in love, your true love, is coming in a very unexpected way, out of the blue. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. And the moon is the unknown. It's the uncertainty. Be accepting of that. Be accepting of, I don't know exactly when they're coming in. Be accepting of that. But know that they are on their way to you. And they always say with manifestation, they always use that example of, like, you're at a restaurant, right? And you order the Alfredo. And if you were at a restaurant, you're not sitting there worried, is my Alfredo ever going to come? You trust it's going to be brought to the table. Even if the kitchen is slow, even if it's a busy night, you trust that they will deliver your Alfredo, right? Like, your King of Pentacles is coming in. Your true love is coming in. They are on their way to you. You just have to have trust and faith and acceptance that you don't know exactly when, and that's okay. You don't need to know exactly when. They're going to come at an unexpected time, but they are on their way. And it's happening sooner than you think. And with the Witch's House, I feel like Spirit is saying, like, you will always have a home. You will always have a safe space within yourself. You don't need to seek home in another person. You are your own home. You are your own safe space. No one can take that away from you. So you don't have to have all these walls and all of these fears. You will always have a safe home within yourself. Always. You can always come back home to yourself. Always. So you don't have to have all this fear. Okay, group 2. We are going to end your reading now with some self-care messages. We have nourish your temple. So, drink enough water. Try to eat a little bit healthier if you can. Or if you do that already, maintain that. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Kind of parent yourself, Soak in a bath. If you're not a bath person, take a nice soothing hot shower. Or if you live near water, you can go for a swim. If it's actually, warm enough weather wherever you live. We have flow like water. That to me is echoing this Yule's Night card. Flow like water. Go with the flow. Don't try to control things. Queen of Swords, that's hard. She likes to be in control. She's the Queen of Swords. But flow like water. Tap into this Queen of Cups side to yourself. If something wants to come into your life, let it. If something wants to leave, let it go. Flow like water. You don't need to be in control of everything. Let the universe do its thing. Don't micromanage the universe. Let it do its thing. Let fate do its thing. And flow like water. Accept your emotions as they are. Don't try to repress them. Feel them, process them, and let them go. I think some of you are so afraid of your own emotions that you try to repress them, and then they eventually come up later, right? Because you can't repress them forever. And then they do feel strong and they do feel overwhelming because they've been repressed for so long. Or some of you, I think it would benefit you to get into the habit of just letting yourself feel sad, letting yourself feel anxious, letting yourself feel angry, accepting that as a temporary emotional state. Feel what you need to feel and then let it flow through you like water. Feelings are like the weather, like it's not going to last, but just ride it out. Just accept it for what it is. Sit in those uncomfortable feelings and then just let them flow away. And don't judge yourself or don't get upset with yourself if you're having a day where you feel depressed or having a day where you feel angry. It is what it is. I'm probably going to quote this little thing right here in every single reading. But it is what it is. Okay? And then your last card is use your hands. And I think, especially because you're coming through as the Queen of Swords, that's going to benefit you a lot to get out of your head and do something that requires your mental focus, your attention on something else. So like do a puzzle, you can do pottery like she's doing, anything artistic, anything that requires you to mentally fixate on something else so you're not so tied up in your own thoughts and you don't start overthinking and fixating and all that stuff. Because you can't just sit and like do something passive like watch television if you're in that headspace, because you're a smart cookie, Queen of Swords. Like it's not going to be mentally stimulating enough to distract you. You need something, and I'm not talking about distracting yourself from your feelings. I'm talking about distracting yourself when you start to overthink and ruminate and fixate, when your mind goes in overdrive. Okay, I want to be very clear about the distinction between these two. And that's probably going to be hard for some of you to learn how to separate your thoughts from your feelings, because if you're the Queen of Swords, like we talked about before, you tend to intellectualize your emotions. So how do I separate my thoughts from my feelings? So maybe keep a feelings journal. Maybe that'll help you kind of sort through that. Okay, group 2, this was your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it resonated for you. I hope you're excited about this upcoming new chapter in your love life, and I'm wishing you the very best. Please take care, group 2. welcome to your reading. So before we get started, I just want to say that I know this is a sensitive topic and I hope that I handle it with care. I am going to be uploading sometime after this video a self-confidence boosting, like let me hype you up type of reading. So if you're interested in that, make sure to stay out on the lookout for that. If you don't have notifications turned on, go ahead and do so. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. We have the Princess of Cups, we have the Tower, we have the Knight of Wands, we have the Ten of Swords, we have the Four of Cups, the Five of Swords, the Two of Wands, and the Nine of Cups. Okay, a lot of different messages coming forward. I love that I was drawn to the Pastel Journey tarot deck for you all, because I just feel like there's this like magical, almost kind of bubbly, fun kind of energy to you. And I love to see this Princess of Cups come out first, regardless of your gender. Like, you are just someone who is so, I don't know, you just have this beautiful spirit, group 3. Like, I just want to start the reading and let you know you have this beautiful spirit. Like, you're just a magnetic soul. And I feel like when you have that kind of warm, beautiful light to you, it's like that quote. I think it was Warsan Shire. I might be quoting the wrong person, but I think it's her that has that quote that says, sometimes your light attracts, like good things, and sometimes your light attracts moths, and you know what I mean, like insects and things that you don't want. So sometimes your light can attract, I know I butchered that quote. I know I butchered it. But my point is that sometimes when you have such a warm, beautiful light and you have this sort of magnetic soul, sometimes you can attract a lot of bad things with that. Like, people who don't know how to make that light for themselves will come and, be like energy vampires and just drain you of everything that you have and leave you for dead, which is this Ten of Swords. I feel like you've encountered that a lot. You've encountered people who just drain you of your light. People who, and I always think that's so unfortunate. Like, if you're someone who is so supportive and you try to build other people up and they're over here acting from a place of insecurity and tearing you down, it's so disappointing when that happens. And I've had that happen in friendships a lot, where I don't know, like, I like to give people compliments. I like to make people feel good about themselves. I don't give disingenuous compliments, but I try to make it a point to at least give a few people a compliment a day. Like, I make it a point to do that. If I leave my house, like, if I notice the cashier has cute earrings, I'm gonna say, hey, those are really cute earrings, or if my coworker has a nice voice, I'm gonna make a comment about that and say, I really love your voice, you have a very lovely voice. I just think it's nice to spread kindness, because kindness is free, right? And if you can make someone else feel a little bit better about themselves, why not do that? If I notice something, I'm gonna say, something positive about somebody. I'm gonna say it, like, hey, like, you have really good taste, or whatever the case may be. And I do that in my close relationships too. Like, I always tell my husband when he's looking good, or like, you're so funny, you're so funny. I think those little compliments add up over time, like, they do help people. And I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. I feel like you do similar things, group 3. I feel like you spread kindness, you spread joy. You're the type of person that uplifts the energy in a room. And so for you to have gotten back this Ten of Swords from all of this beautiful light and joy and kindness that you spread, and just this sort of magical energy that you have, is really disappointing. It's really disappointing. It's really heartbreaking. It's really unfortunate. Because some people will do that, like, you'll be so kind and supportive to them, but meanwhile, they're being passive aggressive and trying to undermine your self-esteem, and they just have this I I hate to say this, group 3, but I feel like this isn't just an issue in your romantic life. I just feel like you inspire jealousy and envy, and you're not doing anything to cause that. Like, you are so sweet and supportive and kind, and you just have this almost like happy-go-lucky, sweet disposition. You seem like you have a sentimental heart. And what you've gotten back in return, is people trying to break off a piece of that light for themselves, and people trying to almost like knock you down a couple notches. And meanwhile, you're just trying to build people up and spread joy and kindness, And honestly, group 3, I feel like a lot of this jealousy, and don't worry, we're going to get to the topic of the reading. I just feel like I need to kind of sift through this dynamic that you have with other people that's kind of repeated, well, not kind of, definitely repeated in your life. I feel like a lot of people are jealous and envious of you, group 3, because you are someone who is authentically yourself. And so you don't mind if you come across as quirky or weird or different. You value that about yourself. You've come to a place of appreciation about that. And so with this 10 of Swords, she's pretty unbothered. I think you've gotten so used to this dynamic that it's your normal, that you probably barely notice it anymore. Because I just feel like people have just tried to undermine your self-esteem, or they resent you for being your authentic self because they wish they could be as free as you, but they're not. And so, they've tried to, make you feel bad for this free expression that you have. And, they've tried to, like I said, undermine your self-esteem through passive aggressiveness. And this may also come from a parent as well, because I just feel like this is almost like a general theme to your connections, that this has happened to you. I'm not saying that everybody treats you this way. I just feel like this is a repeating pattern in your life, okay? And so I feel like for you, though, you just keep shining. You just keep shining. And you've just, like I said, accepted this for what it is. Now on to why you're single, okay? I feel like you are you're almost like a child of the divine. Like, I do feel like the universe, your guides, you're almost kind of carrying this energy of like the favorite child, like you're very endearing. I can't stop smiling in your reading. You're very endearing to your guides, like there's something about them where they're like, group 3 is like the soft cinnamon roll. Like, we just want to protect group 3, like they're too good for this world. They're too sweet for this world, kind of thing. And that's another thing, is that people may take like your sweetness is disingenuous, but this is who you are. Like, you're a sweet soul, group 3. This is who you are. And so, you're very connected with your inner child. Like, you're very playful. I love your energy, group 3. I love it. I could sit in this energy all day. I just love it. But yeah, I feel like your guides are quite protective over you. So it's almost like they are trying to keep you safe. It's like they intervene in your life more than the regular person has the divine intervene in their life. There's a lot of divine intervention in your life because there's more divine protection than what is typical, is what it seems like. They intervene a lot. And I'm not saying you don't have any free will. I'm just saying fate plays a big hand in your life. Like, the divine intervenes quite a bit. And it's to protect you. They don't want anyone approaching you at this point. I'm saying at this point. They don't want anyone approaching you and coming into your life as a potential romantic partner if they are not like approved by the universe. So like the universe has a person that they want for you. They want you to have a healthy, lasting, solid connection. They don't want any like Knight of Wands. Like they don't want any players. They don't want anyone who is going to lie to you, betray you, cheat on you, abuse you in any sort of way, abuse your kindness, someone who's going to hurt you, like this Ten of Swords. Like they're trying to protect you. And so, yeah, they're keeping you single. With this Four of Cups, it's a blessing in disguise. They're keeping you single until they can arrange it. Because there's a lot of, like I said, a divine intervention, a lot of divine timing. They're trying to arrange it just so. I keep hearing the phrase, just so. We want it just so. They want it perfectly aligned so that you meet their pick for you. Like this is the person that is going to be the best possible partner for group 3. So we're trying to arrange it just so. Because you're their little sweetheart. They dote on you. Like they dote on you. They look at you like you are their child. They have a very nurturing attitude towards you. That's just your spiritual team. You know, like I don't know, like you have this like angelic almost vibe to you. And I don't know if because I feel like this happens sometimes, and I've mentioned this before in previous readings, but I feel like if you didn't have a stable childhood or a caregiver that you could rely upon, I feel like the divine will intervene more in your childhood. And it's almost like the divine raises you. And then so you grow up to be this like sweet, spiritually aligned, beautiful soul. You know, you're a light worker. You're a source of light in this world because the divine played such a big role in raising you. And so the divine feels like you are our child. You know, I mean, we're all children of the divine, yes. But it's like we especially played a role. You know, we've been intervening in your life for a long time now because you needed us. And I feel like Spirit is like, you know, Group 3 deserves true, authentic, real, healthy love. They deserve this, and we want to, you know, present you with this blessing. We want to make this happen for you. And so they are asking you to have some patience. And, you know, with this Five of Swords, I feel like that's the divine, that's your guides intervening and closing off anyone who they deem not good enough for you because they know their intentions are sour. They know this person is, you know, these people are bad news for you. So we're not going to let them get close to group 3. So it's almost like Rapunzel in her tower, you know, it's like waiting for the one, like, when will my prince come? You know, ignore the gender here, but it has that vibe of like you being in this holding pattern, you just waiting. And, you know, it could be because you all trust the divine. You know, you're like, okay, you know, I'm waiting. I've been waiting for a while, but I'm waiting, you know. And you may be getting bored. She seems pretty bored. And, you know, with this Princess of Cups, maybe you've done a lot of online dating and that hasn't panned out. I'm just noticing her, like, looking at her phone here. You know, or maybe you've been kind of comparing yourself to other people on social media and like how happy they seem in their love life, and you know, you're feeling a lack, you know, you're feeling like something's missing. But with this Two of Wands, like, you are on the precipice, you know, like you're so close, you know, you hold the world in your hands. And I feel like Spirit wants you to get excited for the space that you have in your life for the best possible partner to come in for you, because with this Nine of Cups, this wish is being granted for you. You know, this Four of Cups, this blessing is coming in. It is. And so I think be excited about the space that you have in your life, because it could be worse. I know being single for a long time can feel like the worst thing in the world for your love life. But trust and believe when I say being stuck for whatever reason in a toxic, karmic, unhealthy relationship, and there's all kinds of reasons why people stay in relationships that are toxic and not healthy for longer than they should. There's always some kind of extenuating circumstance. Try not to judge people for that if you've never been in that situation, but trust and believe when I say that's so much worse than just being single. Because at least when you're single, you have the space and the potential and the room for the right person to come in. But when you're stuck in something unhealthy, it's like, not only is there no space in my life for the right person, but I feel like I'm stuck with the wrong person. So be excited about the space that you have in your life for the right person to come in, okay? And they are coming in. That wish will be granted with the 9 of Cups. We have she who frees, liberation, unrestrained, and freedom. She who instigates, leadership, provocation, and power. Yeah, I feel like you all have this beautiful, like, strong, feminine energy to you, because there's so much softness and sweetness and receptivity to the divine, and you're very spiritual, group 3. You have this beautiful connection to the divine. And I feel like you're almost like their chosen one or something. Like there's something that is so liberating about your energy. And I think that, again, people have this resentment towards it because you are so free. And there's a wildness to you that I think is so beautiful. There's this cosmic almost element to you where you're quite hard to define. And I think sometimes people resent that too, and they can't put you in a neat, tidy little category when it's hard to stereotype you. And you're someone who kind of instigates, I think, healing in people, and you instigate people to reconsider their beliefs. You have this such a unique perspective and philosophy on life that comes from the divine. And you are a messenger of the divine. You are a vessel of the divine. They use you in many ways to spread their messages and their downloads. You get a lot of psychic downloads, whether you realize it or not, group 3. And so I do think you trigger a lot of people. And that's part of that 10 of Swords and why that is. And you are a lot, I think that other people get triggered by you. And in a romantic context, I feel like people may tell you like you're too much, but you're not too much. It's like they are feeling like they're not enough, and so they're telling you that you're too much. And that's just not the case. I think that there's this intimidation factor here as well. Like you seem like someone who's hard to control. And you may have encountered romantic partners who tried to control you because they needed to learn that lesson. That you can't control another human being. You are so authentically yourself that you are not one, even though you seem sweet and soft, you're not one to be manipulated, because you see through all of that. Because you are so psychic, so intuitive. You see through the masks that people wear. You see through the manipulation. And so it's almost like people are, in romantic contexts, doing something bad to you. Maybe they're cheating on you. Maybe they're lying to you, trying to mislead you. And you call them out on it because you see through that right away. And then they blame you. They become angry with you. They project their guilt onto you and tell you that it's your fault. And they're resentful because you didn't believe their lies, They thought they were so slick. They thought they were so smart. They thought they were pulling a fast one on you, and you would be easy to control and manipulate because you're so sweet. And they found out the hard way, right? So you may have dealt a lot with that. But I think the beauty here in you, group 3, is that you never lost your power. You don't give your power away. And I do think that because you have this strong feminine energy to you, again, regardless of gender, I think people read that as you being weak, as your sweetness, as your kindness is something that's weak, when really it's a strength. Because if you were an insecure person, you would not be lifting other people up. You would not be sweet and supportive and kind. You wouldn't be walking around trying to hype other people up, trying to encourage other people to be the best version of themselves. If you were insecure, you wouldn't be doing that. You would be trying to passive aggressively undermine their self-esteem like other people try to do to you. So I just feel like Spirit wants to acknowledge how powerful you are, because they don't want you to interpret them trying to protect you as them viewing you as weak. Okay? Because they want to say, we acknowledge your strength. We acknowledge your power. But we have so much love for you. And I'm hearing like you're one of our best workers. Like, again, like you're like a light worker. You know, you're one of our best. So we want the best for you. You deserve the best. We have life partner. Love of a lifetime, stable. This is what they want for you. And this is that wish fulfillment. This is what is coming in for you. So the person that's coming in for you is going to be your life partner, your future spouse, you know, the person that you share your life with. We've got social media. Yeah, we were talking about that. Maybe you've been comparing yourself to others on social media, you know, seeing how happy other couples are and, you know, just wanting that for yourself. You know, or you've tried dating online and that hasn't really panned out for you. We've got music, your song, signs through music, musician. I really feel like this could be confirmation for you that you chose the right group if you are a musician. Or it could be saying that your next romantic partner is going to be a musician. But I feel like for most of you, this is just saying, Spirit is sending you signs through songs. We've got growth. You've done so much growth. I mean, you are like one of those people that is always constantly evolving. You're always doing some kind of self-development. And so I feel like you're one of those people that, you know, is on their path towards self-actualization. Like you just do a lot of growth. You do a lot of inner work. We've got rebirth, new beginnings, healed. Yeah, I mean, you are completely entering a new phase in your love life, a new chapter. And with the 10 of Swords, like you are healing from this. You are rebirthing from this. You are like, you know, the phoenix rising from the ashes. And you'll do it again and again and again. Because that lower vibrational energy is just no match for you. You will always overcome that. You know, no matter how many people try to tear you down, they tear themselves down in the process. Like it just doesn't work. We have listen, intuition, don't talk, hear what they are really saying. You're highly intuitive. Like, I feel like this is Spirit just acknowledging that. You are so intuitive. You know, if you listen to your intuition, it will never steer you wrong. You are so intuitive. We've got crossroads, choices, different options. I feel like this is that 2 of Wands. I feel like this is also signifying, if you're wondering about timing, this person's going to come into your life when you are at a crossroads in your life, when you have some sort of decision to make, not related to your love life. So when you are deciding whether or not you're going to relocate, or whether you're deciding or not, you're going to take a trip, you're going to travel. Whether you're, and that could be a big deal if you're someone who has never traveled to like another country before, you've never traveled alone before, that can be a really big deal. Or if you're trying to decide whether you're going to go back to school or change your career or start a new job, buy a new home. When you're at a crossroads, that could be when this person comes in. We've got lessons, learning from the past, ending toxic cycles, past life lessons. I do feel like you're an old soul, and that's funny because you have this bright, youthful energy. You have this optimistic, like almost like Little Miss Sunshine kind of energy that people might view as childlike, but is actually from a place of real deep wisdom. So it's like you seem so youthful, but you're an old soul, you know? And I feel like that's part of what makes you so special and makes it hard for people to put you in a box and define you. You're so unique. You have this beautiful dichotomy to you. You're very dynamic, group 3. And even you can see as I'm talking about you, like I said, like I like your energy, group 3. Like I could stay in this energy all day. There's something about your energy that even I, reading your cards, am gravitating towards you. And that's what I was talking about before. Like you have this beautiful light, group 3, that people can't help but be drawn to. Even if they resent it, they can't help but be drawn to it. And you may find that like people break your heart, whether it's romantic, friendship, whatever, people break your heart, and then you walk away, and then they try to come back. You may encounter that a lot. People trying to pull you back in. Like they were a terrible friend to you, they were a terrible partner to you, and then you leave them, and then they try to come back. It's like, you never appreciated me while I was there. You treated me horribly, but you keep pulling me back. It's like people don't know what they have with you until you're gone. And that's hard. It's like, why can't you appreciate me when I'm there? Why is it you only miss me, want me when I'm gone? That can be frustrating. Oh, and then we have unexpected. So I definitely feel like this is talking about when that life partner comes in, you're going to be distracted by some other decision, right? But then it's like, you meet the love of your life, you meet your life partner. It's like I'm so focused on trying to figure out this other problem in my life, trying to make this big decision. And then the universe is like sneaking in my life partner as I'm on the cusp of making this big decision. Or you make the big decision and you're trying to orient yourself, you know, after you've made this big change. And that's when you meet the love of your life, which is really cool. Okay. And I'll say that happened to me, quite honestly. Like I was pretty distracted, trying to figure out my career, trying to adjust to a really big move. And then I met my husband. So, you know, things like that can happen. Okay, we have garden. Something lovely will grow from this. And we have feather. Think first before you judge. With this garden card, every time I read it, my mind always fills in something lovely will grow from this, and then my mind says, and it will be you. Like the thing that grows from this situation will be you. And that's that 10 of Swords. Like as much as people try to hurt you or try to belittle you or try to take your energy, take your light from you, you come back 10 times stronger every time. It's like the more people try to hurt you, the better you become. Like you're always in this growing, evolving process. You will always rise from the ashes, right? So they only hurt themselves. Like the more they try to hurt you, the more they only hurt themselves. And that's why, like, I always tell people, like, be so careful about projecting or wishing bad upon someone else. Like, just if someone hurts you, don't wish ill upon them. Just try to live a better life for yourself, you know, instead of hoping that, you know, instead of coming from a place of revenge. Like the best revenge is happiness, right? Like you moving forward, you healing, you glowing up is way better than their life falling apart, because at the end of the day, it's not going to make you feel any better. Not really. And so, you know, if you wish bad upon someone else, I fully believe it comes back on you. And it comes back on you like times 10. Like, I don't play with that. And I feel like you're kind of the same way. Like, you were just focused on bettering yourself. And, you know, every single time you come back better. And with this feather card, think first before you judge. I really feel like you're always kind of light as a feather. Like your energy is never heavy. Like even in the 10 of Swords, you were unbothered. You were unbothered. And so I think that people do pass a lot of judgments on you, but you don't let that weigh you down. you're okay with walking to the beat of your own drum. And so, I really feel like group 3, that's part of your power, and no one can take that away from you. And when this person comes in for you, group 3, you'll know it. You'll be able to recognize that they are sent by the divine. They are your life partner. You'll be able to recognize that because they're not trying to change you. They're not trying to water you down. They're not trying to make you small. They let you be yourself. And I'm sorry to use another personal example, but just to give some context, I was dating this person before my husband, and he would tell me, like, don't raise your voice to me. And it would always kind of take me aback a bit because I tend to be, I don't know, I think pretty calm, pretty like soft-spoken, but I can get excited, like I'm a Leo. I can get excited when I'm talking, and I can get kind of worked up a bit. And I like banter, like I like joking around. I like to be playful. And I'm like, I'm not speaking to you. I'm not yelling at you. I'm not speaking to you in an aggressive tone. I have like a sweeter voice just naturally. I'm just expressing myself, like we're joking around. Why is it okay for you to joke with me, but I can't joke with you back? Like, why do I have to moderate my voice or speak in a monotonous tone? Like, why do I have to do that? Why can't I be expressive? Like, there's nothing about what I'm saying to you that is aggressive. And it's okay for you to be that way, but I can't be that way. So I just felt like I just felt like he was watering me down. I felt like he was diluting my personality because I like that about myself. I like when I get, I don't know, exuberant? I don't know the word for it. I like that though. I like when I can be playful, I like when I can joke around. I like to laugh. That's my favorite thing. I love to laugh. And so, like, why do I have to be soft, I guess, like all the time? Like, why can't I have fun and be playful? And so then when I met my husband, and he could match that energy, and he didn't ever say anything to me about, moderating my voice or whatever, and I could just be myself and it felt easy. I think that's how you're going to recognize your life partner, when it feels easy, when it doesn't feel like someone's trying to moderate you or is getting onto you, when you're just being yourself, when they're not intimidated by you. Because it felt very much like he was like, I'm the man, like you need to speak to me with respect. And I was like, well, I am being respectful, but if you're going to joke around with me, I'm going to joke back. How is that not okay? And so I think that's a big thing too, like this mutual respect between you two. And them just kind of giving you space to be yourself and not trying to control you or put you in a box or water you down. Not trying to dilute you. Because you're a little bit, like I said, like you're hard to define, you're hard to pin down. Okay. Oh, you know what? This card right here. This card makes me think of the Two of Wands. Like, because usually with the Two of Wands, someone is looking out over a cliff, like kind of off into the distance. That's what this is reminding me of, this card here. I do feel like this is confirming that idea that you're going to be at a crossroads in your life, about to make a big decision. I do think for a lot of you, it could involve relocation or travel or moving, or even if it's just changing jobs, but it feels like some kind of move. But it doesn't have to be, but I am picking that up for a lot of you. I feel like Spirit is saying, don't focus on your love life, because we have that sorted. We have that sorted. You focus on this upcoming decision, or maybe this is something you're trying to work out right now. Maybe you're in that crossroads right now. You focus on that, You focus on intuitively doing what is right for you, what is best for you. You continue to prioritize yourself and stay in that beautiful energy. We have your love life sorted. There's nothing that you need to do. We have it sorted. And with this sweet, I don't know if that's Ostara, I might be pronouncing that wrong, harvest with this card here. This to me is summarizing everything we've talked about how beautiful your energy is, group 3. Actually, let me read the guidebook for this because it's not long, I promise, but it's just such a beautiful card. I love it when oracle cards have numbers. It's so much easier to find it in the guidebook. It says reconnecting to vitality, feeling invigorated and inspired, ready for action, love, creativity, laughter, and joy. A desire to move and dance with the rhythms of the earth and her creatures, caring for young ones, caring for your own inner child, bright, sparkling, warm energy. Like you always have that. You do, you sparkle. I mean, even the Pastel Journey Tarot that I was drawn to for you has these foiled sparkles on it. That's your energy. Like there's a reason why I was drawn to this deck for you all. Curiosity, high engagement and interaction with the world and nature, inhabiting nature gladly and fully. That's what I mean. Like you are so connected to your feminine energy. You're connected to the cycles of the moon. You're connected to the seasons, to Mother Gaia. Like you are just a child of the divine, a child of the cosmos. And you are, you know, like connected to your inner child, like that youthful energy that I was talking about. And there's this beautiful curiosity to you. You're like Alice in Wonderland, like you can't sit still. There's a restlessness to you. And I think that's why romantic partners in the past have tried to control you. Because it's almost like I don't want you to wander away. So I'm trying to control you. I'm trying to keep you small. But you were meant to wander. You were meant to explore. You were meant to be curious. And you just have, again, like this beautiful energy. Like you have this joyful attitude, even in the hardest of times. You have this grateful heart. You have this trust, this faith in the divine. And you have such a great capacity to love. And just who you are is in of itself a form of creative expression because you're so authentically you. And it's so beautiful. And so you're a source of inspiration for a lot of people. Group 3. Okay, I'm done hyping you up. That was meant to be for another reading. Okay, so we will go ahead and end your reading with some self-care messages, group 3. So we have clear your energy field. And you can look up ways to do this. There's so many ways to clear your energy field. Here it looks like she's maybe using like some essential oils or some sage. You can do that as well. Or Palo Santo, whatever she's using, I don't know. But whatever you want to do to clear your energy field, you can light a candle. Whatever resonates or feels good to you, you can do. We have drink tea. And you can always be intentional with like what tea you're using or make your own tea blend. That can be nice. Or you can set that intention like if you're drinking chamomile tea and you're like, this is going to calm me. Like you can set an intention over the tea. We have chanting. So you can say positive affirmations, say a mantra for yourself. And abundance planning. I feel like this might be related to that Two of Wands we were talking about. If you were going to move or relocate or change jobs, you know, you might need to sort out your finances or plan how that's going to go. Okay, group 3. This was your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed your reading and I'm wishing you the very best. And yeah, I hope to see you in my next one. Please take care, group 3.